we're going to look at the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. We're going to look into how it was made and why there were only 21 ever made. The goal of engineers at the start of the 1970s was to make planes that could either absorb or deflect radar data. However, Northrop was also asked to work on the project by the U.S. Department of Defense, even though Lockheed already had experience building stealth planes like the SR-71 Blackbird. Ronald Reagan said that Jimmy Carter didn't have enough defensive tactics while he was running for president in 1980. It was answered by the Carter government, which said that the U.S. was working on a top-secret stealth bomber. The contract to build what would become the B-2 Spirit was given to Northrop on October 20, 1981. It was first planned to be a high-altitude bomber, but as it was being built, the design was changed so that it could fly low and follow the ground. Because the plans had to be changed, the plane's first flight was pushed back by 2 years, and the cost of making it went up by $1 billion. The B-2 wasn't a fuselage or a tail, it was just like a flying wing. Its job was to sneak nuclear weapons deep into Soviet territory without being seen. Secrecy. The B-2 was built by Northrop Grumman at a Ford Motor Company building in Pico Rivera, California that was no longer in use. It was kept secret how this building process worked. For security reasons, the government set up a lot of fake companies to get parts for the plane without anyone suspecting anything. Trucks with parts for the plane always came at night and weren't marked, and when military leaders came to visit, they never wore their uniforms. Every single person who worked at the plant had to regularly go through a polygraph test and swear to keep information secret. The B-2 was shown to the public for the first time on November 22, 1988 at U.S. Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale, California. On July 17, 1989, a B-2 took off from Palmdale and went to Edwards Air Force Base. This was the plane's first flight. This was the first flight that was written down. As the Spirit of Missouri, the first B-2 went into service on December 17, 1993 with the U.S. Air Force 509th Bomb Wing, which was based at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. The United States Congress looked again at its stance on the B-2 Spirit satellite after the fall of the Soviet Union in December 1991. The cost of building and maintaining this bomber was higher than any other American bomber, so only 20 of them were ordered instead of 132. Later, President Clinton gave the go-ahead for an Air Force prototype to be built. This made the total number of B-2s in use 21. Operational and accident history. First used in battle, the B-2 was seen for the first time during the Kosovo War in 1998 and 1999. 500 different flights were sent by B-2s to Yugoslavia during the war. After the September 11 attacks on New York and Washington, D.C., the B-2s were used again when the United States invaded Afghanistan. The Indian Ocean island of Diego Garcia was used for actions and as a secret forward operating base during the Iraq War and the 2000s. The B-2s were also used there. A B-2 plane that took off from Andersen Air Force Base in Guam on February 23, 2008 was in an accident soon after takeoff. Even though both crew members were able to safely jump out of the plane, it was destroyed, leaving only 20 planes in service. Plans call for the Air Force to keep using the B-2 until 2032, when the Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider will take its place. The magic of stealth. While the B-2 uses stealth technology, one of its best features is that it can hide itself. When it comes to radar, infrared, acoustics, electromagnetic waves, and electromagnetic fields, the B-2 Spirit can hide itself from sensors as much as possible. Not only does the B-2 Spirit have a very aerodynamic flying wing structure, but it also has composite materials and rare finishes that make it a top-secret military bomber. Because of this, the B-2 Spirit is a great choice for getting past complex defenses and protecting important targets that are being protected. The B-2 Spirit is subsonic but effective. The fastest the stealth bomber can go at sea level is 630 miles per hour, which is a lot slower than Mach 1. The plane's top speed is about 560 miles per hour when it's at 40,000 feet. It's important to know that the B-2 Spirit can fly up to 50,000 feet and has a range of up to 6,900 miles. The B-2 Spirit doesn't go as fast as some other planes like the Mach 2.5 General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, but it is still a popular bomber because its high service ceiling and ability to stay out of sight. Not only can the B-2 Spirit refuel in air, but it can also fly up to 11,500 miles on a single tank of rocket fuel. Large high-tech wing design. Some of the most interesting things about the Northrop B-2 Spirit are its shape, which makes the whole plane look like a big wing. In the 1920s and 1930s, Jack Northrop, founder of Northrop Corporation, later known as Northrop Grumman, was the first person to think of this kind of airplane frame. This plan was the start of the Northrop Corporation. 3 more plane types from the 1940s to the 1950s were the NM-9 Flying Wing, the XB-35, and the YB-49. They were all used during the Cold War. It has very good aerodynamics because of the way its wings are designed. This is partly because it doesn't have a tail or a body. The B-2 Spirit's use in war. Attack missions can be done safely by the B-2, which can see from up to 50,000 feet away. Being able to refuel in the air is also helpful for military activities with the B-2. A nuclear war situation from the Cold War was thought about when the B-2 was being made. Because it's so stealthy, this scenario imagined the B-2 carrying out deep penetrating nuclear strikes. During the Kosovo War in 1999, the B-2 was used in battle for the first time. The United States was able to kill 33% of the Serbian targets that were chosen after it intervened from the air. The fact that the B-2 bomber was used as part of Operation Enduring Freedom during the attack on Afghanistan in 2001 shouldn't have been a surprise. Apart from that, B-2s were also used in the Iraq War and during the 2011 foreign action in Libya. More recently, in January 2017, 2 B-2 bombers attacked an ISIS training camp from the air, killing about 85 members of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS. The B-2 Spirit set an aerial record during the Afghan War. With its long combat mission in 2001, the stealth bomber broke the world record for the longest air flight. After what happened on September 11th, the Spirit of America led 5 more Spirit B-2s into Afghan airspace for 44 hours, which was the longest time ever. In fact, the B-2 had a short stopover for 45 minutes and had its engine serviced while they were still running, showing what amazing abilities it had. There are 2 bays inside the B-2 that can hold up to 80 bombs each. The B-2 Spirit has 2 internal bays that can hold both cargo and weapons. Besides being able to carry 40,000 pounds of cargo, the plane can also drop both conventional and atomic bombs. This could lead to 85 class bombs, 36 class CBU bombs weighing 750 pounds each, 16 class 2,000-pound bombs, or 2 GBU-57 precision-guided bombs, depending on the details of the case. The stealth bomber is the only plane that's been publicly recognized as having this ability. It can carry huge standoff weapons in stealth mode and can also make direct hits on land. The United States Air Force is currently using this beautiful armed bomber, and they plan to keep doing so until 2032. Even though it won't be used anymore for a little more than 10 years, the B-2 Spirit will be known for how well it could hide and how unique it looked. In the history of military, it's a wonder. Thanks for watching this video.